Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here, and today I have my How to Kill a Kit with Style for the month of February, and the theme for this month is vintage, and so I went with vintage kind of feeling papers, as well as I dove into my stash and found an 8x8 paper pad that was from Cosmo Cricket. So that to me definitely had a vintage vibe to it. Not only are the papers kind of got that vintage kind of feel to them, but Cosmo Cricket has not been around for quite some time. And so this was from 2012. So to me, that's definitely toward the vintage side of the things in my stash. I definitely have stuff that's older than this, but I figured definitely more than 10 years old at this point is a good enough way to say vintage. So I do apologize for my voice. I'm going to try to keep this as quick as possible, so I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail, just simply because I know my voice doesn't sound the greatest yet. Still working on trying to get it back, so I don't want to make you listen to my voice for too long. So I'm going to show you really quick what I pulled out for papers, so you can see what's in my kit, and then I'll go through the other bits and pieces that I pulled. So like I said, the base of the kit was basically pulled because of this 8x8 paper pad, which I have never touched it. Like, I've had this in my stash for forever, and I've never even used one piece. So yeah, definitely, and I'm breaking it open already. So yeah, definitely it'll be good to get some of this used up. So I'll just quickly show you sort of the colors that are in it. There's pinks and some tealy green and some like coral. There is some browns and tan, and a darker sort of teal, and some, like I said, some brown and some of the beige. So I definitely think it has a vintage kind of feel to it. So I'm going to try to use some of this up. Obviously, this is a whole 8x8, so there's no way I'm finishing this, but this is where I started. And then in my stash, I just went ahead and grabbed some of these papers that were sort of like a library note card. So I pulled a couple of those. I have some dictionary print from an old book. I have some other sort of vintage style notebook papers, so I pulled those. And then I have just a scrap here. This is from Good Vibes, but I thought this pink definitely matched some of the pink that was in the papers, so I went with that. I have this calendar paper that I thought would make a great background. I know this is a crepe paper. Can't remember the collection, but I do know it's crepe paper. I have this one here as well. Has that sort of distressed feel, kind of vintage feel. This is from a crepe paper. I think this is My Girl, was the collection. So there's that one. Next up, most of these are from paper pads. This is also from that My Girl collection. Again, it has that sort of vintage vibe. This one here is from Maggie Holmes. I can't remember, this might have been the Flourish collection. I honestly can't remember, but I thought the background definitely, I would use this as a background paper, and it definitely worked color-wise. I have just a scrap. This was actually from one of my kits from last month, so I pulled that in, as well as the other 12x12 sized pattern paper that I didn't use. So this definitely had a sort of vintage feel to me. So I pulled that in. These are also scraps from one of my page kits from last month. The colors worked, so I pulled those in as some scraps. This here is from, I think, a Heidi Swap paper pad. It's just a pattern paper textured kind of background. It's just that cream color or taupe kind of color. Perfect for a background, so I pulled that in. I already started working on putting a page together, so I have this piece of cardstock. I'll add in other cardstock as I go. I just happened to throw this one in here. And then the last four papers I pulled from a paper pad. I don't even remember who it was from, but they all had a definite vintage vibe. They have this floral with the distressed wood, and so I pulled this one, and then this text paper that has sort of this collaged print. I have this text paper with like the yellowed background, and then this floral, which again also gives me that vintage kind of vibe. So I pulled those. Those are not, they don't have anything really matching in this 8x8 that I pulled, but I thought I could make 2 additional pages using these papers in particular. They all came from the same paper pad, so I pulled those out. So those are the papers. So we'll see what I get used up this month. So I will set those aside. Next up, I have the alphas that I chose. So I just threw a few things in here. I went with a lot of gold, and these are wood grain. Excuse me. That I thought definitely worked with the vintage theme. The gold, I feel like, works with a vintage idea. So I have these to try to use some more of these up. I have some October Afternoon, which definitely when I'm thinking vintage, I often think of October Afternoon, so I pulled these ones. I have these gold from Maggie Holmes. These from Heidi Swap that I had in my previous kit. I have some Dear Lizzie tiles, so I can definitely use those. These are some yellow tile letters from My Mind's Eye, I believe. Here is some more October Afternoon with black letters. Then I have this pink with gold. These are My Mind's Eye, I believe, as well. And then thickers, I just pulled these 2. I don't know how much I can get out of these. A lot of the letters are gone, but I did pull these in to see if I can make a few titles out of these. So that's the alphas. I pulled in some word stickers, so I have these 2 sets from Maggie Holmes, and then this was also from a Maggie Holmes set. And I thought these 2 colors, well, all 3 really, go with the colors in the kit. Next up, I have enamel dots. So I just pulled a whole bunch of random packs that I'm trying to get used up that matched the colors. So I have pulled all of these, and then I have 2 packages of sequins from Spiegel Mom Scraps. So this is in the navy, which is in the February pre-orders, and then Twigs and Twine, which is also in the shop. So I'm going to try to use some of those. And so those are sort of my bling type elements. Next up, I have just the other bits and pieces that I pulled. So I have some puffies. Not all the colors of this work, so I'll use what I can. I have a couple of label stickers. I would love to get these used up and gone. I do have a few library type, Project Life type cards that have a vintage feel. I have some butterflies that definitely gave me that vintage feel with the color. I have just some gold circles. This is Cosmo Cricket again. These are fabric stickers. I thought a few of the colors worked with what I had in my kit, so I pulled those. I have some Now and Then stickers. Definitely probably can use at least some of these. I have these from the Craft Market. I thought the colors for at least some of these could work on some pages. I have some doilies. I pulled in this sticker sheet from Paige Evans that was in one of my page kits from last month. I thought some of the colors definitely could work, so I pulled that in to see what else I can use. For larger sticker sheets, I did end up pulling these 2 in. Now, I won't use probably the green that's in this, but I thought some of the others and some of the elements on this kind of had that retro sort of vintage flair, so I thought I could definitely maybe get a few of them used up. Lastly, I just have a little bag of embellishments here. There is lots of crepe paper, some Maggie Holmes, a few acrylic pieces, I think a few enamel dots that I threw in here as well, but just some ephemera pieces, some labels, just bits and pieces that match the colors and sort of had a vintage kind of flair to it. I also threw in some wood veneer, some hearts, and some asterisks that I thought I could use in this kit and try to get some of this used up since it worked with the colors. Lastly, I'm just going to show you, I did throw in a few dies that I thought I could pull from a tool perspective into this kit. So I didn't pull a lot of alphas, so I thought maybe I could do some of my own titles. So I have two different alpha sets here. One's Echo Park, one is iCraft, and that gives me some font choices. I have another set of dies here, just some arrows and then some florals, which I thought I could die cut some florals as well. And this has a smaller alpha. I want to say that's a memory box alpha, I believe. I have these curvy leaves is what it's called, from Pink Fresh. So I thought I could do some die cutting with those. I have these lace dies from Tim Holtz, definitely giving me that vintage flair with the lace. I have these dies that my husband got, I think, for me for Christmas. So they're just some floral dies, so I can pull those. I also have this floral die from Tim Holtz. I definitely kind of felt like it could give me a little bit of a vintage kind of flair. And then lastly, I have this, which I bought a while back from Crafters Companion. It actually is dies for these butterflies that are on paper. So they're already printed on the paper, and then it has the dies that line up and cut all of these butterflies out. And I thought these definitely, not all the colors, but some of them definitely, I thought definitely kind of give me that realistic but sort of vintage vibe with the, like, I don't know, the photorealism. So I pulled that in. So we'll see if I get some of these used up as well. So this video is already 12 minutes, so I'm going to call it good. This is what I pulled for my kit this month, so be sure to come back. I am hoping by my next video my voice will be much better and you won't have to listen to such a raspy voiceover. So with that, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Links down below to everyone else who's playing along this month, so be sure to check them out, and I'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.